Welcome back to Unstable TV! And you're through to Irish Couple Reacts. And do stay tuned because this happens every week.
So if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of these videos. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you! So, as it is St. Patrick's Day week, yup the Irish! We are going to be doing some Irish reactions all about the history of Ireland. We are going to be starting with why Ireland is divided. Ooh.
So, as it is Paddy's Day week, not Patties. So a lot of you guys, as we were going through our reacts throughout the year, you were asking for a lot of Irish reacts. You want to see what's going on over here, but of our history, which is fair enough. We have you all globally from Asia and everything, and America, all across all the seas. I'm not going to name everyone, don't want to bore you. Thanks so much to everyone that has been watching us, and I hope you enjoy this. Happy St. Patrick's week that we're putting together for everyone. So without further ado, we'll jump straight into our first reaction of Paddy's Day week. Let's go, fiddly diddly.
When people win their independence and break away from their colonial overlords, they normally take their entire country with them. Yet, when Ireland successfully revolted against its inclusion within the United Kingdom, it did not. This chunk in the north remains to this day a part of the United Kingdom, despite it previously being administratively a part of Ireland, which raises a pretty obvious question. Why didn't Ireland take the north with it? Why is Ireland divided? Well, first of all, we need to go back to the 17th century. This was when the English and Scottish thrones were held by the same man, James I. James was also the King of Ireland, at least in name, and he wanted much greater control over it.
I told you was the King of
Ireland. He was
Ireland.
a Protestant king with Catholic subjects whom he felt were much more loyal to Rome than they were to him, mostly because they were. As such, he seized lands in the north and gave them to Protestant settlers, a process which over the centuries changed the religious demographics in the north. And over those centuries, the Protestants held much greater rights within Ireland than the majority Catholic population. Political office was reserved for Protestants, whereas Catholics couldn't own land nor could they practice their faith or speak their own language without harassment. In the early 19th century, British leadership feared rebellion and so passed numerous reform acts which gave many of these rights back to Catholics. As of the 1860s, there were those in Ireland who pushed for what was called Home Rule, which meant that Ireland would remain in the UK but with autonomy over the laws that governed it. The British said no and would continue to do so for the next 60 years. This position was buoyed by those living in the north who didn't see themselves as Irish but as British, and so opposed anything that could potentially separate Ireland from Westminster.
The old identity crisis.
The pro-British population living in the north, called Unionists, signed what was called the Ulster Covenant. This was a document signed by 500,000 people, and it essentially threatened civil war if Ireland was given any autonomy. World War I gave both sides something else to think about briefly, but during the conflict the Easter Rising broke out. This was a semi-spontaneous uprising which wasn't popular amongst the Irish and was put down brutally by the British. The brutality of the response, as well as the quick and not very professional execution of the uprising's leaders, further galvanised the Irish people against British rule. In 1918, elections were held in Ireland in which Sinn Féin, a pro-independence party, won an overwhelming victory. They created an Irish parliament and promptly declared independence, which meant war. Long story short, the Irish won, but Britain refused to give up the north due to the wishes of the majority of the people living there, and also land. As such, Britain passed the Government of Ireland Act, which split Ireland into two new parts of the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, which was by this point independent, and so its leaders didn't care what the British Parliament had to say about it. Northern Ireland was given these boundaries, which the British Parliament chose because they were reasonably the most that they could keep whilst guaranteeing a unionist majority there. In mid-1921, both sides agreed to a ceasefire whilst they created a lasting peace. And it was decided that Britain would recognise Irish independence on two conditions. The first was that Ireland agreed to Britain keeping the north, and second was that Ireland would retain the British monarchy. And Irish leadership agreed to these conditions, although it split Sinn Féin and pushed Ireland into a civil war. The pro-treaty side won, and after that point the island of Ireland was divided between the two nations. And barring a drunken offer from Churchill, reunion has never come close to being a reality. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you
So
for watching.
first off, a very big shout out to the original content creator. Do make sure you go check them out, give them a like, subscribe, and all of that good YouTube stuff, fiddly day. Very interesting story about the short version of Irish history. Now obviously there is a lot more to that, that's why it is the short version, but if you'd like to look that up, go check it out. Now I welcome all of our Irish people that do watch to get in the comment section here and try and help our fellow global friends out there and let them know what's going on. But in short, from what the history books have taught us here, the way Michael Collins was wording it with Arthur Griffith and Eamon de Valera, the first bit of independence we got with England still owning Northern Ireland, was going to be a stepping stepping stone to the full independence of Ireland. But sadly, during the Civil War, Michael Collins was shot and killed by a stray bullet, and that didn't come to pass. But I'd say somewhere in the future we will get United Ireland. What did you think of that, Danielle?
Yeah, that was a nice quick overview, a very quick overview of why Ireland is basically still in two parts now. You know, if it's something that you're only learning now, this is probably a good video to start with, because it just kind of gives you the basics of everything, really. And it's a good, stepping stone to try and really understand why Ireland is two separate countries. Now, I'm not speaking for every Irish and English person, obviously, because everyone's going to have their own opinions on this. But it definitely does seem that tensions are a lot less now than they were before, which is good. And obviously, we'd all love to see United Ireland. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it would be nice to see one day.
So, of course, if you are from Ireland, or you're just learning about the Irish history now, or maybe you are from around the world and you have a big interest in Irish history, do let us know your opinion in the comments below. We'd love to hear from everyone. We want to hear everyone's view on what you guys think. But obviously, we'd still like to have a chat down there in the comment section with you. And if you've anything further you want to add on the back of this video from the information, do not hesitate to let us know about that in the comment section below. And that has been our 2 cents, and we will chop ourselves out of this.
So as always, you are the beautiful people of YouTube, and we have been Unstable TV.
So drop a comment below and let us know what you thought of this reaction video. And if you have any suggestions for us to do, let us know too.
And as always, we will see you in the next one. Bye.